Hello and welcome to The Eye, your English news bulletin. I'm Esther. These are the headlines. A special investigation team has submitted charge sheet against 19 accused persons belonging to different factions on July 22 relating to the firing and killing of 3 persons in Lamhai Namdi village on March 22nd. NNPG Chief N. Kitovi Zimomi says human rights have been undermined and questions the motive of media portals that stated his name in Pegasus spyware controversy. A COVID-19 patient treated with steroids developed unusually large and multiple liver abscesses after recovery from infection, said the reports of Sir Gangaram Hospital in Delhi. On the eve of the Tokyo Games, organizers fired the director of the opening ceremony over a joke he made about the Holocaust. Now for the news in details. The row over the news of an alleged surveillance operation using the Pegasus spyware rocked the nation and even closer home as key members of the NSC and IM as well as the chief of the Naga National Political Group were amongst those allegedly targeted by the Israeli spyware between 2017 and 2019, news portal The Wire reported. While various organizations has also hit out at false media reports, N. Kitovi Zimomi, the convener and chief of the NNPG, and whose name is also reportedly part of the list, spoke to HornbillTV and denounced the report. He felt that because of the news portal The Wire, human rights have been undermined, questioning their intention in exposing the names.
What was the intention of these things? And when they are monitoring my movement, and I am supposed to visit one place, and I have to keep the people out there informed that I will be reaching their location at this time, by that time. And before reaching the destination, if something goes wrong with me, the wire should be accountable. See, where is the private right? Why they are assassinating the private affairs? Now we have completely lost the human right. But what was the intention, the motive, and what benefits are they getting by monitoring our movement? I don't accept these activities. I simply understood that they are assassinating my individual character, my individual right.
Over the past few days, the Pegasus project has thrown up names of many politicians, journalists, activists and citizens who were part of the spyware's potential targets list. The Pegasus spyware is manufactured by the Israeli NSO group, terming the reports as planned and well-orchestrated media campaign led by forbidden stories and pushed by special interest groups. The company in a statement said enough is enough. Due to the complete disregard of the facts, the NSO group announced it will no longer be responding to media inquiries on this matter and it will not play along with the malicious and slanderous campaign. The Nagaland State Legal Services Authority, or the NSLSA, has sanctioned a total of Rs 67,26,000 from the Nagaland Victim Compensation Scheme for the year 2020 for 29 cases. The distribution to dependents or families of victims by the District Legal Services Authority started in the month of July.
The scheme was introduced for the purpose of compensating victims or dependents who suffer loss or injury as a result of crime and people who require rehabilitation. Of the 29 cases, 9 were victims of rape, 11 were loss of life and 7 were of sexual assault and physical abuse. Out of the total application, 15 were minors. The compensation is awarded to the family members and dependents of the victims. Applicants can make an application before the Legal Services Authority of the state by attaching with it the FIR, medical reports, and a copy of judgment or recommendation if the case has been disposed. Similarly, 6 applicants were recommended during the year by the court, 18 were filed by claimants, victims, and 5 were from the police, administration, organizations, and others. After scrutiny, the award given is done based on factors such as the gravity of the offense, loss of livelihood, while in the case of that, their age, monthly income, number of dependents, whether the crime was an isolated incident or part of a series over a period of time. Out of the total applications received, all applications were considered. 8 compensations were from Kohima district, 6 from Dimapur, 5 from Mokokchung, 5 from Mon, and each one from Zunoboto, Twingsang, and Phek district. It may be noted that there is no specific budget allocated for victim compensation. The Relief and Rehabilitation Home Department accommodates it according to the applications that are received from the legal authorities.
A special investigation team of the PHQ in the State Crime Police Station has submitted a charge sheet against 19 accused persons belonging to different factions on July 22 relating to the firing and killing of 3 persons in Lamhai Namdi village on March 22 earlier this year. Let's have a look at the details. While 7 accused persons out of 19 persons charge sheeted have already been arrested by the SIT and currently in judicial custody, the lookout for other 12 absconding accused persons continues. The 7 arrested accused persons against whom charge sheet has been filed are Kisheto Zimomi, head GB of Vihoto village, Mung Wang Konyak from the NSC and IM, Tongka Hao Siltu of Atibung, Vikeshe Achumi of Tilika, Yepeka Kiba of the NSC and IM, Lentilin Hansing of the NSC and U, and Livingston Awomi of Tilika. 4 suspected persons who were arrested earlier in this case connection and subsequently granted bail are released from the case. The special investigation team headed by a senior police officer was constituted for investigation of the case. The investigation had revealed that the 19 charge-sheeted accused persons were part of a deep-rooted criminal conspiracy to plan, prepare, and execute the killing of 3 persons at Lamhai Namdi village. The SIT had visited the makeshift camp in the jungle, which is 2 to 3 kilometers away from Vihoto village, that was used for accommodation and preparation by the charge-sheeted accused for the commission of the crime, and collected various incriminating evidences. During the course of investigation, the SIT had seized various incriminating evidences such as photographs of accused with arms during their stay at makeshift jungle camp, videos, certain technical evidences, crucial material evidences such as ammunitions and other incriminating materials from the scene of crime. Identities of few other unknown persons involved in this case are also being established. Further investigation in the case continues. As part of the Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav program to commemorate the 75th anniversary of India's independence, the Nagaland Central Youth Organization of the Nationalist Democratic Progressive Party carried out a cleanliness drive in the state's capital town with the slogan Clean Kohima on Wednesday.
Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the previous year. NDPP legislators Dr. Nikisale Kire, Zale Nika and Imnatiba Jamir formally inaugurated the cleanliness campaign set to be conducted across the state. Speaking at the program, Kelho Nizo Yaume, president of the NDPP youth, said that the clean air produced by plants and trees will only get polluted if drains and the environment of the towns and wards are dirty. He said even the areas around homes and shops become unhygienic when shopkeepers and denizens neglect their duties in keeping their environments clean. Yome said that the cleanliness drive will be conducted in all the districts by the party's youth wing, adding that each district will have its own slogan. He hoped that the cleanliness drive will go a long way in educating citizens throughout the state towards clean Nagaland for the well-being of the society. Imnatiba Jamir, who is also the person in charge of the Central Youth Organization of the NDPP, expressed happiness that despite the present situation, people turned up in good numbers and hope for a successful cleanliness campaign to be conducted in the entire districts.
Dreaded National Liberation Front of Borderland militant M. Bhatta, who carried a cash reward of Rs 10 lakh on his head to surrender before the Assam police on Thursday. Bhatta was the head of newly formed NLFB and was formerly associated with the now disbanded National Democratic Front of Borderland. The NLFB was formed after BTC election and was operating from Myanmar and Arunachal Pradesh forests. Special DG of Police Assam GP Singh was present when Bata surrendered. As many as 60 other members of the NLFB are also expected to lay their arms on Thursday. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar on Thursday said that the government is ready to hold discussions with protesting farmers if they express their issues with the laws point-wise.
The remarks were made ahead of the planned protests by farmers in Delhi against the three contentious legislation that were enacted by the centre in 2020. Country has witnessed that these farm laws are beneficial and are in favour of farmers, the ANI quoted the Agriculture Minister as saying. If they express their issues with the laws point-wise, the sides can discuss it, ANI quoted the Agriculture Minister as saying. Buses carrying protesting farmers from Tikri and Sindhu borders arrive at Jantar Mantar in the national capital. They are protesting against the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act, Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act, Essential Commodities Amendment Act. The agitating farmers are appealing to the centre to repeal the laws, alleging that these legislatures would leave them at the mercy of big corporates. The farmers will hold a Kisan Sansad at Jantar Mantar. They will also march towards Parliament during the demonstration.
In other news, China rejected on Thursday a World Health Organization plan for a second phase of an investigation into the origin of the coronavirus, which includes the hypothesis it could have escaped from a Chinese laboratory, a top health official said.
Organization this month proposed a second phase of studies into the origins of the coronavirus in China, including audits of laboratories and markets in the city of Wuhan, calling for transparency from authorities. We will not accept such an origins tracing plan as it, in some aspects, disregards common sense and defies science, Zhang Yixing, Vice President of National Health Commission, NHC, told reporters. Zhang said that he was taken aback when he first read the WHO plan because it lists the hypothesis that a Chinese violation of laboratory protocols had caused the virus to leak during research. The head of the WHO said earlier in July that investigations into the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic in China were being hampered by the lack of raw data on the first days of spread there. Zhang reiterated China's position that some data could not be completely shared due to privacy concerns.
Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina survived an assassination attempt on Tuesday, according to the Prosecutor General's office.
Authorities allegedly foiled an assassination attempt on Rajoelina and apprehended several foreigners and Madagascar natives. According to Radio France International, the foreigners detained were Paul Rafano-Harana, a Franco-Malagasy, and Philippe Francois, a Frenchman. Rafano-Harana was arrested at his house Tuesday evening, according to the media outlets' unidentified source, while Francois was stopped at Yvetot Airport as he was preparing to leave for France.
A COVID-19 patient treated with steroids developed unusually large and multiple liver abscesses after recovery from infection, said the reports of Sir Gangaram Hospital in Delhi today. A liver abscess is commonly caused by a parasite known as Entamoeba histolytica, which is transmitted by contaminated food and water. During the second wave of the COVID-19, in the month of April to May 2021, a number of COVID-19 patients presented with some unusual manifestations, said Sir Gangaram Hospital Professor Anil Arora. It saw for the first time in the past 2 months unusually large and multiple liver abscesses in 14 patients after recovery from COVID-19 infection, said Arora. Professor Arora, Chairman, Institute of Liver, Gastroenterology and Pancreaticobiliary Sciences, Sir Gangaram Hospital, said that what was found unusual was that after recovery from COVID-19 within 22 days in patients who were otherwise immunocompetent had large areas of both lobes of liver filled with pus at multiple locations requiring drainage and hospitalization. These patients were the age group between 28 to 74 years, 10 were males and 4 females, said Arora. All patients had a fever and upper abdominal pain, and 3 patients also had associated lower GI bleeding. with black-colored stools, Arora said. 8 of these patients received steroids for the management of COVID-19 symptoms, and 6 patients had multiple large abscesses in both lobes of liver, of which 5 patients had unusually large abscess, the largest being 19 centimeter in size, said Arora. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on Thursday said that more than 42.15 crores vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far through all sources.
According to a press release, 3.20 crore, 3 crore 20 lakh 1,490 balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories and private hospitals to be administered. As per data available at 8 a.m. today, out of the provided vaccines, the total consumption, including wastage, is 40 crore 59 lakh 77,410 doses. The vaccination drive has been ramped up through the availability of more vaccines, advanced visibility of vaccine availability to states and UTs for enabling better planning by them and streamlining the vaccine supply chain. As part of the nationwide vaccination drive, the Government of India has been supporting the states and UTs by providing them COVID vaccines free of cost. In the new phase of the universalization of the COVID-19 vaccination drive, the government will procure and supply free of cost 75% of the vaccines being produced by the vaccine manufacturers in the country to states and UTs.
On the eve of the Tokyo Games, organizers fired the director of the opening ceremony over a joke he made about the Holocaust, while media reported former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, a staunch advocate for the Tokyo Games, would skip the showpiece event.
The news is the latest in a series of embarrassments for Tokyo organizers that have sparked outrage and comes just days after a well-known musician was forced to step down as composer for the ceremony after all reports of his bullying and abusive behavior surfaced. Earlier this year, the head of the Tokyo 2020 organizing committee resigned after making sexist remarks, and Tokyo Olympics creative head followed after he made derogatory comments about a popular Japanese female entertainer. Tokyo Games organizers fired Kentaro Kobayashi on Thursday over a joke he made about the Holocaust as part of his comedy act in the 1990s that recently resurfaced in domestic media.
That's all for tonight's English News Bulletin. I'm Esther. Keep watching Hornbill TV.